of Psalm 23, through green meadows and still water, with the sound of soft rain overhead and the warmth of a quiet fire nearby. And we are going to let the shepherd lead us all the way into deep, peaceful sleep. Dear Lord, thank you for this moment of rest, for this body that carried the day all the way here, and for the quiet that is already beginning to settle in. We ask that peace would come gently and completely tonight, that the mind would grow soft and still, and that sleep would arrive like a slow tide coming in from somewhere very calm. May every tired soul that hears these words feel held, feel known, and feel entirely safe in your care now. And through every hour of this night, there is a meadow. It has always been here, this meadow, long before the day began, long before the weight of the week gathered, long before the evening came and brought its particular kind of tired. It was here before all of that, and it is here now. The grass is soft beneath, the kind of grass that bends slightly underfoot and springs back slowly, without hurry. The kind that has held many travelers before this one, and it knows, somehow, exactly how to hold this one too. Rain is falling, not a heavy rain, not the kind that demands attention or sends anyone running for shelter. This is the other kind, the steady, even kind that has no agenda. It falls on the meadow the same way it has always fallen, without announcement, without urgency, simply continuing, the way certain good things do. The sound of it is already doing something to the shoulders which have been carrying so much. They are beginning very slightly to lower, not all at once, just a little, just enough. There is warmth in the air here, something like the low glow of a fire, though the meadow is open and wide. It is a warmth that belongs to the place itself, a quality of the air, a kindness in the atmosphere that asks nothing in return. The shepherd provides everything that is needed, and so the soul is at rest. Those words come quietly, like something remembered rather than heard for the first time. They settle in without effort. They do not ask to be examined. They are simply true, and the body receives them the way dry ground receives water steadily, without resistance. The meadow stretches out on all sides, green, even, unhurried. There is no edge that matters tonight. There is no appointment on the other side of the grass. There is only this, the rain, the warmth, the softness underfoot, and the particular quality of a place that has been prepared for resting in, and somewhere not close enough to require attention, not far enough to cause concern. The shepherd is there, just there, simply present, the way a fire is present in a room even when no one is watching it. The shepherd has nowhere else to be tonight. This is clear from the posture, the ease of someone who has settled in for the long, unhurried hours. There is no tension in that presence, no readiness to leave, only a calm, steady accompaniment that costs nothing to receive. The jaw is beginning to soften. It was working hard today. holding things in, forming words, staying composed, carrying more than faces usually show. And now it is releasing, the way a clenched hand releases when the effort has finally been recognized and given permission to rest. There is green grass beneath and still water nearby, and nothing more is required. That is the whole truth of this place. Nothing more. The provision here is complete, not nearly complete, not mostly sufficient, but entirely and quietly complete. And the recognition of that, the slow arrival of that knowing, is its own kind of rest. In the distance, the still water is visible. It did not need to be walked to. It is simply there, the way certain things appear when the eyes are no longer straining, closer than they seemed when the day was loud, more available than the mind had room to notice. The surface of the water is almost perfectly still. The rain falls into it, and the circles appear and spread and fade, each one arriving and going, and being replaced by another, softly, continuously, like thoughts that are allowed to pass through without being held. They come, they spread outward, they are gone, and another arrives, and it too will pass gently, without effort. The body is heavier now, not heavy the way a burden is heavy, heavy the way a warm blanket is heavy, a welcome, certain weight that says, you are here, you are still, you are held. The kind of heaviness that is simply the body agreeing with the place it is in. Beside still water, something in the soul begins to return to itself. It is a small movement, quiet and internal. Something that had been pulled outward by the demands of the day is finding its way back. The way a tide returns to shore after it has gone out as far as it can go. Not a dramatic return, just a settling, just a slow, certain coming home to the center of things. The weariness is known and understood, and it is being gently, quietly restored. There is no judgment in that knowing, no impatience with how tired the soul is, or how long the tiredness has been building. Weariness is simply recognized here, seen clearly, held gently, and the restoration begins not because the tiredness was hidden, but precisely because it was acknowledged. This place has known tired souls before. It was made, in some sense, for them. For the ones who arrive at the end of a long road and find that the meadow was here all along, that the rest they were hopping for was never somewhere far away, but simply here, waiting with a patience that exceeded any search. If this space brings you peace and rest in the arms of God, please subscribe to Sleepy Angels, so these gentle words are always close when the night feels long. The rain continues. It is the sound of patience made audible, a sound that asks nothing of the one who hears it. It does not require a response. It does not build toward anything. It simply continues, reliable, and even the way mercy continues. The way goodness follows, not loudly, but persistently, without end. The still water holds the sky's reflection, the gray of the rain clouds, the soft light that comes through even on a gray day. All of it is caught there in the surface, held gently, without distortion. A calm that reproduces itself. A peace that has enough of itself to give away. The breath has found its own pace now. It was not given a pace. It simply found one, the way water finds its level, without being told, without effort, following the natural direction of things. In and out, slowly, a little more slowly, and again, even in the quietest, most uncertain stretches. The shepherd is always there, close, unhurried, calm, not calling out, not announcing, simply present in the way that good companions are present, not requiring acknowledgement, not asking to be noticed, but available, entirely and reliably available. The kind of presence that makes the dark feel smaller and the uncertain stretches feel shorter than they are. The shepherd's staff is nearby, visible at the edge of the awareness. It is not a weapon. It is a shepherd's tool of steady care. The crook of it was made for drawing the lost one close, for guiding without force, for checking on the one who has wandered to the edge of something uncertain. It is a hand that says, without words, I have you. I have always had you. There is nowhere you could go that I would not find you and bring you gently back. The shoulders have dropped further now, the line where the shoulders end and the softness beneath them begins has grown less distinct. They are resting in the truest sense, not braced, not waiting for the next demand, but genuinely, completely resting in the way they were designed to rest at the end of a long day. At the far edge of the meadow, near a low and quiet tree, there is a figure. The figure is at rest beneath the branches, completely still, not asleep, not yet, but resting with the particular ease of someone who has finally been given permission to stop. Someone who carried a great deal and walked a long way and arrived, at last, at a place that said, here, this is far enough. You can stop here. Something warm and simple was placed beside this resting figure. Bread, water, not elaborate, not a feast, not an occasion. Just the exact right thing, placed with care by a hand that knew what was needed before it was asked. The provision was not announced. It was simply there when the eyes opened. Enough, more than enough. Given quietly, the way the best care always is. The tired one was not corrected. A hand simply touched the shoulder and said, you have traveled far. Rest now. That is the whole of it. No accounting for the journey. No assessment of whether the traveling was well done or poorly done. Only the recognition you have come a long way. And now, here, the coming is finished. The arriving has happened. And the invitation is simply to rest. This is for every soul that has been tired for longer than one day. This rest is not reserved for the ones who arrived with their strength intact. It is for the ones who nearly didn't make it. For the ones who sat down under the nearest tree and said, quietly, I am done. I cannot go further tonight. And found that the place they sat down in was exactly the right place, and that sitting down was exactly the right thing, and that what arrived to meet them, there was not disappointment, but bread and water hand on the shoulder and the words, "Rest now. You have traveled far enough." The jaw has softened completely. The face is open now. The way faces are only open in sleep, or in the moments just before sleep, when the performance of the day has finally been released, and what remains is simply a person, resting, unguarded, at home in the quiet. The water in the distance is still in the way that deep things are still, not the stillness of something frozen or stopped, but the stillness of something that has found its center and rests there, unhurried, complete. A stillness that is not empty, but full of a quiet that has weight and warmth, and the particular quality of something that has always been here. Something in the chest loosens slightly, a tightness that had been there so long it was nearly forgotten, like furniture that has been in the same corner for so many years it is no longer seen. It loosens now, not all at once, just a little. The way ice begins at the edges, slowly, reliably, moving toward the center as the warmth continues. A table has been prepared, not hurriedly, but with care, and the seat at it belongs to this soul. It is not a formal table. It is a table in this meadow set simply with good things. The kind of table where there is enough light to see by and enough warmth to stay a while. The seat at it is not barbed. It was not set out in haste in case someone might arrive. It was set out because the arrival was expected, because the one who prepared it knew that someone was coming, and prepared accordingly, with care, without hurry, without reservation. There is abundance here, not abundance in the sense of excess or accumulation, but abundance in the sense of enough, more than enough, given freely, without calculation. The cup is full. The bread is present. The warmth is sufficient. And none of it was earned tonight, and none of it needs to be repaid, and none of it is running low. There is abundance here, and it was arranged before this soul arrived. The hands, which held so much today, are open now. They rest in the lap, palms upward, empty in the welcome way. Open hands that held tightly all day, that gripped and managed and carried, and that are now simply open, receiving, resting, needing to hold nothing. At the table, there is no urgency. Nothing is cooling that must be eaten quickly. No conversation that must be kept up. No performance of gratitude that is required before the abundance can be received. Just the table and the warmth and the quiet and the knowledge that the seat here was always meant for this particular soul. Something like warmth settles at the crown of the head. A quiet blessing for a tired and faithful soul. It arrives without announcement. A gentle weight at the top of the head, like a hand placed softly there. Not pressing, not demanding anything, only blessing. A benediction for the end of a long day. The shoulders receive it and lower, just slightly, one more time. The cup is full and overflowing. More than enough, given freely, without measure. The generosity of this place has no bottom. It does not measure out carefully against what was deserved. It simply gives steadily, abundantly, way rain gives to a meadow that was already green. Not because the meadow needed saving, but because this is what the rain does. This is simply what it does. The shepherd is seated now in the grass. The posture is easy, fully settled, facing the water. There is no tension in that figure, no alertness that suggests something is being watched for. Only the ease of someone who knows that everything is as it should be, that the flock is safe, that the night is held, that the one who rests nearby is in exactly the right place. The calm of that posture reaches outward. It is the kind of calm that travels. It moves from the shepherd to the air around the shepherd, and from the air into the meadow, and from the meadow into the one who is resting at the water's edge. Calm is contagious in a good way. It spreads without trying. It simply moves, the way warmth moves from a low fire into a cool room slowly, from the center outward, reaching every corner in time. And then the water was still, entirely, completely still, not almost still, not mostly still, entirely. The rain falls into it, and the circles appear and fade, and the surface remains, beneath all of that, perfectly at rest. A stillness that is not disturbed by what falls into it. A peace that absorbs what arrives and remains itself, unchanged. The same quiet that settled over that ancient water is here now. It spreads slowly. It has no urgency. It reaches into the spaces between thoughts, into the places that were still holding tension without knowing it, into the quiet corners of the chest and the soft edges of the mind. It settles there, not forcefully, not dramatically, but completely, the way evening settles over a field at the end of a summer day. The breath is slower now. There is no need to count it or manage it. It knows what it is doing. In the way that the body, when it is finally safe, always knows what it is doing, it deepens and slows on its own, without instruction, following the natural direction of rest. Somewhere in the long story of this soul's life, there has always been someone watching, not watching in the way of scrutiny, not watching to assess or evaluate, but watching the way a parent watches from a doorway, the kind of watching that is really just love made visible. And when the one who was away was still a long way off, when the road was still long and uncertain, the one who loved them saw and moved toward them, without waiting, without reservation. Running, if running is the word for the movement of love, when it finally sees what it has been watching for, while the weary one was still a long way off. The one who loved them saw and moved toward them without waiting. There is no distance in this love. There never was. The distance that seemed to be there, the gap between the tired soul and the place of belonging, was not what it appeared to be. Love was already moving across it, had been moving across it all along. The arrival was already accomplished from the other side before the journey was even finished. The meadow holds all of this quietly. It does not make a ceremony of it. The rain continues. The water remains still. The shepherd remains near. The warmth in the air is steady. And the soul that has traveled a long way to arrive here. It is simply here now, held in a place that was waiting for it, in the care of a love that never required the traveling to be perfect. Goodness has been walking behind all along, closer than it seemed in the harder moments. This is the part that is easy to forget when the road is long. That goodness is not ahead, not a destination to be reached, not a reward waiting at the end of the effort. Goodness follows. It has been following the whole time. It was there in the small things, the cup of water given at the right moment, the unexpected kindness from an unexpected direction, the morning that arrived even after a difficult night. Goodness does not announce itself. It is most clearly recognized in looking back, in the quiet review of a life and finding, in the spaces between the harder things, the unmistakable trace of something that was taking care, something that was attending, something that was making sure the thread held, even when the fabric felt thin. Mercy has not abandoned the road. It has followed every step, patient and unhurried. Mercy is not something that runs out. This is one of its most fundamental qualities. It is not a finite thing that is given carefully against the possibility of scarcity. It follows. It keeps the same steady pace as always. It does not grow tired of the following. It does not speed up or slow down or stop to assess whether the following is still warranted. It simply follows, patient, present, unhurried. And so the soul traveling this road, this particular soul, on this particular night, is accompanied front and back. The shepherd ahead, provision and guidance in the direction of travel. And behind, unhurried, entirely reliable goodness and mercy, following every step, every uncertain one, every slow one, every step taken in the dark. The light in the meadow has shifted. It was never bright. It has been the soft light of a rain-gray day all along. But it is softer now, dimmer in the way that evenings dim slowly from the edges of the sky inward, the way sleep arrives for the body, not all at once, from the outside in, the periphery going soft first, and then the center, and then everything settling into the particular darkness that is not frightening but restoring. Nothing in the meadow has changed. The grass is still soft. The water is still still. The shepherd has not moved. The warmth in the air remains steady, the way good warmth always does. It is only the light that has shifted, only the natural movement of the day toward night, the world turning, as it always does, toward the hours made for rest. The fire has settled lower. The sound of it has changed, less active now, less of the small, energetic crackling, and more of a steady, continuous warmth. A fire that has burned long enough to reach its most generous and least demanding state. It does not need tending. It does not need watching. It gives its warmth steadily, without drama, without requiring anything in return. The body has arrived at rest, not almost arrived, not nearly there, fully, completely arrived, the way a long journey ends, not with announcement, but with the simple recognition that the traveling is done and the arriving has happened. and there is nothing left to do but be here. There is a belonging here that has no edge. It does not begin at the grass and end at the water. It does not start at the shepherd and stop at the tree. It is more like the air, present in every direction, available without effort, surrounding without confining. A belonging that simply is, that was, that always will be. Home is not far away. The goodness of this place has no ending, not a home that must be earned or maintained or arrived at through the right door. A belonging that is simply the truth of this soul's place in the order of things, settled, certain, quiet. The same way the rain belongs to the meadow and the water belongs to the valley. It is simply where this is, where this has always been. The shoulders have finished their work. They are part of the softness beneath them now. The line between the body and the place of rest dissolved, the way the edges of a thing dissolve in warmth. Not gone, simply continuous with everything around them. Held and holding and held again. The rain continues. It has been falling since before this rest began. It will continue after. It is not visiting. It is simply part of the atmosphere of this place, the same way the shepherd's presence is part of it, reliable, unhurried, entirely without agenda. There is a dwelling that holds this soul for all of its days, a belonging that never lifts, a permanence that is not rigid but constant, not a room that locks, but a belonging that stays. The same way the meadow stays through every season, through every kind of day and night, through the easy mornings and the difficult ones. The belonging does not depend on the season. It is simply always here. The shepherd has not moved. Still there, a shape in the low evening light, settled and present, keeping the kind of watch that requires no tension, the posture of complete ease, the ease of someone who knows that all is well, and that the knowing is enough, and that the presence is the gift, and that nothing more is required of the night than this, to be here, and to remain, and to let the one who is resting know, without words, that they are safe. A guardian who is also at rest is the greatest reassurance of safety. There is no alarm in that figure, no readiness to spring into action. Only the quiet confidence of someone who knows the ground, who knows the night, who has been here before through all the hours of darkness, and found each time that the morning arrived as promised, and the meadow held, and the one in its care was still here, still held, still known. The water is still. It has been still for a long time now. The rain falls into it, and the circles come and go, and the stillness receives all of it and remains itself, unchanged, certain. A peace that is not the absence of movement, but the presence of something deeper than movement. A rest that holds steady beneath whatever falls into it. Home was never as far as the tired mind believed. It was here, in this grass, at this water, under this gray and gentle sky. It was the warmth in the air that asked nothing, the shepherd nearby that required nothing, the belonging that was never contingent, never conditional, never at risk of being withdrawn. The cup of this moment is full, steady, overflowing quietly over the rim. Not a dramatic overflow, not a flood, but the slow, continuous generosity of something that has more than enough and gives it steadily and will not run dry. The cup fills and fills again, and the giving is the point, and the receiving is allowed, and there is enough for every night and every tired soul that arrives here. The breath is very slow now. There is nothing to count, nothing to manage. The body knows exactly what it is doing. It has known for a long time, and it was only the busyness of the day that made it difficult to trust. Now, in this quiet, the trust comes easily. In and slowly out, and in, and the long, unhurried settling of the exhale. There is a dwelling that holds this soul for all of its days, a belonging that never lifts. This line returns now not as new information, but as something remembered, something that was always known, but needed the quiet to be heard again. The belonging is permanent. The care is permanent. The presence of the shepherd, the softness of the meadow, the stillness of the water, these are not temporary comforts. They are the permanent character of this place. And this soul belongs here, has always belonged here, will always belong here. The night is long and entirely on the side of rest. Every hour of it is arranged for this, for the deepening of sleep, for the restoration of what the day took, for the quiet work that happens below the level of awareness when the body is finally still, and the mind is finally soft, and the soul is finally home. Every good thing that arrived today, however small, was sent with intention. The small mercies, the unexpected kindness, the moment of beauty that arrived in the middle of something ordinary, the person who said exactly the right thing without knowing it, the morning light, the warm cup, the moment of quiet in the middle of a loud day. All of it sent, all of it intentional, all of it part of the goodness that follows this soul on every road. Forgiveness moves through a resting body slowly, from the center outward. The things that needed to be forgiven, the small failures, the moments of less than enough, the words that came out wrong or didn't come out at all, they soften in this place. Not because they are ignored, but because they are held in a mercy that is larger than any of them. A mercy that was never waiting for perfection before it gave itself. A mercy that followed even the imperfect road. The shepherd is near. This is the whole comfort and the whole protection and the whole provision of this moment. Simply that. The shepherd is near. Nothing else needs to be true tonight. Nothing else needs to be arranged or understood or resolved. The shepherd is near, and the meadow is soft, and the water is still, and the night is held. Some warmth sustains itself. It does not need to be maintained. The warmth in this meadow, the warmth in this belonging, is that kind of warmth. Self-sustaining, independent of effort. It was here before the arriving, and it will be here after the waking. It asks nothing of the one who receives it. It simply gives and gives and gives. The soul that has arrived here is already where it was always going, not partway there, not nearly there, already there. The destination was this rest, this quiet, this knownness, this belonging. And it has been reached. The traveling is done. The arriving is complete. And what remains now is only to be here in the fullness of the arriving, and to let the night do what nights were made to do. The rain continues without hurry, every drop the same as the one before it, every drop the same as the one that will follow. A steadiness that is its own kind of promise, that the constancy of care looks like this, like rain that falls without flagging, like presence that does not fatigue, like goodness that follows every step of every road without ever once deciding that the following is no longer worth it. The shepherd remains exactly where the shepherd was, not closer, not further, the right distance, the presence that does not crowd but cannot be doubted, the warmth that does not demand acknowledgement but is felt in the chest like something true and certain, and entirely beyond the need for proof. Rest here is not borrowed. It belongs to the one who receives it, not granted temporarily, not conditional, not subject to review. This rest, this deep, quiet, receiving rest, is the inheritance of every soul that is tired and has come here and asked only to be still for a while. It belongs to this soul the way the meadow belongs to the rain, fully, naturally, without question. Love that follows without being asked is the love that holds through everything. This is the love that has been here all along, the love that saw and moved toward, the love that followed every road, the love that set the table and placed the bread and touched the shoulder and said simply, "You have come far enough. Rest now. You are seen. You are known. You are loved without amendment, without condition, without end. The shepherd is near. The water is still. The meadow holds this moment, and every moment, and all the long, quiet hours of this night. All is well. Rest now, and let the rain carry the rest of the way home."